Hey everybody! So this is going to be a video showing everybody how to do some of the problems in the homework assignment that's called Midpoint Practice 1. Okay, this is in your Google Classroom page. So anyway, we're going to go through some of these and hopefully help people out that were confused. So the midpoint formula is as follows. We have x1 plus x2 over 2. And y1 plus y2 over 2, and that is the midpoint. Okay, so this will give us our x value, this will give us our y value, and that'll be the midpoint. So midpoint, again, is the point that is equidistant from two other points in a line segment. It'll also create two congruent segments by bisecting that line segment. So these are the two, considered to be the two endpoints of a line segment. Okay, so 0, 1, and 6, negative 10. So the first thing I like to do is label our endpoint. So x1, y1, and then x2, y2. And we're simply going to plug those in. So our x1 is going to be 0, our x2 is 6, and then our y1 is 1, and our y2 is negative 10. Okay, so 0 plus 6 is 6. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see it a little better. 1 plus negative 10 is negative 9. Half of 6 is 3, and half of negative 9 is negative 4.5. And that's it. So that's how you find the midpoint. So let's go ahead and do these other ones. So let's do that so it doesn't zoom in. There we go. So x1, y1, and x2, y2. Again, let's plug those in. So x1 is going to be negative 5. x2 is positive 4. y1 is 8. y2 is negative 3. Okay, negative 5 plus 4 is going to be negative 1. 8 plus negative 3 is 5 over 2. So negative 1/2, and then 2.5. Okay. Over here, we have x1 is going to be negative. Oh no, that's the wrong problem. Sorry, we're going to do the odds. Spaced out there for a second. x1, y1, and then x2, y2. So x1 plus x2. So we're going to have 3 plus negative 5 over 2. And then 9 plus 5 over 2. And 3 plus negative 5 is negative 2. And 9 plus 5 is 14. So half of negative 2 is negative 1. And half of 14 is 7. Okay, so negative 1, 7. So that's how you do the first three problems on that assignment. Hopefully that answers those. And on the back side, we have one more like that, then we get to the ones that I think are a little more challenging. So let's go to the last, we'll call it regular one, I guess. Okay, so we're going to label these x1, y1, x2, y2. So we're going to have 2 plus 2 over 2, and 3 plus negative 8 over 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. And 3 plus negative 8 is negative 5. 4 over 2 is 2. And half of negative 5 is negative 2.5. Okay? So that's that for those. These are the ones that cause a little more trouble. But once you really think about it, it's not too bad. So this is the situation where they give us an endpoint, the midpoint, and then we're looking for the other endpoint. So the best way to describe this is really to illustrate it. So let's say we had a line segment that looked like that. One endpoint would be negative 110. Okay, one midpoint would be 8, negative 10. 8, negative 10. And then we're looking for this other endpoint, okay? So if you can think of it like this, let me zoom in a little more here. So this would be our x1, y1. Okay, y1. Looks like another x, sorry, there we go. And this would be I would call this x sub m for midpoint, and then y, or x sub mid, however you want to write it. It's just a little notation I'm using here. So our x sub mid would be 8, and our y sub mid would be negative 10. Okay? And then we're looking for, obviously, the other endpoint, which is x2, y2. Okay? So what we can do is actually use the midpoint formula. Right? We're going to say x1 plus x2 over 2, and then y1 plus y2 over 2. That's the midpoint formula. This gives us the x value of the midpoint. So this would be equal to that value, right? And this would be the y value of the midpoint, okay? So we're going to use this. We're basically going to like split this up a little bit. We're going to use the x values. We're going to say x1 plus x2 over 2 equals the x of the midpoint, which makes sense. That would give us the x value of the midpoint, and likewise with the y's. So we know two of these three variables. So we can plug those in and solve for the third one. So our x1 is -1. We don't know the x2, so x2. But we know the x value of the midpoint is 8. And now we would just solve that for x. So we're going to multiply both sides by 2. I'm going to have to scroll this a little bit. Multiply by 2, rather. So multiply both sides by 2. That's going to give us -1 plus x2 equals 16. And then add 1 to both sides. And our x sub 2 should be 17. So 17 is the first part. And then the y value, we're going to do the same thing. So our y sub 1 is going to be 10. We don't know the y sub 2. Over 2 equals, and our y sub mid would be, let's put the light on, I guess. 1 second, where's the light? There we go. Our y sub mid would be -10. Okay, so now we're going to solve for the missing y value. We're going to multiply by 2. We're going to get 10 plus y sub 2 equals -20. And then we're going to get rid of this positive 10 rather. So we're going to subtract 10 from both sides. And that would give us y sub 2 equals -30. That's our y value. So that's how you'd find the missing endpoints. That's number 9. Let's do number 11. So x sub 1, y sub 1. This is x sub mid and y sub mid. So 4 plus x sub 2 over 2 equals 5. Going to multiply both sides by 2. Oh, so you can see it. That'd be better, huh? Multiply by 2. And that's going to give us 4 plus x2 equals 10. And then we're going to just subtract 4 from both sides. And our x sub 2 is going to be 6. Okay, so we have our x value. Our x value is going to be 6. And then let's do the y's. So y sub 1 minus y sub 2 equals y sub mid over 2, rather. So 10 plus y sub 2 over 2 equals our y sub mid, which is 7. Going to multiply both sides by 2. It's going to be 10 plus y sub 2 equals 14. And then we have to subtract 10 from both sides. And that's going to give us y sub 2 is equal to 4. So that's the y value of the other endpoint. So 6, 4. Okay. Awesome. Last one. Here we go. We have x sub 1, y sub 1, and then x sub mid, y sub mid. So, okay, x sub 1 plus x sub 2 over 2 equals x sub mid. So -2 plus x sub 2 over 2 equals 4. We're going to get rid of that 2 in the denominator. So -2 plus x sub 2 equals 8. We're going to add 2 to both sides. And then x sub 2 equals 10. Okay, that's our x value. So 10, comma. And now we're looking for the other one. So 6 plus y sub 2 over 2 equals -1. And 6 plus y sub 2 equals -2. We're going to subtract 6 from both sides. And y sub 2 equals -8. This will be 10, -8. And that's it. So these three problems, these are the ones that traditionally give students a hard time. I know when we were first going over this topic, this was giving people a really tough time. So let's make sure that if you have any questions, please ask me about these. Okay? Awesome. Thank you, guys.